We are so excited to welcome our First Lady and second gentleman to Phoenix, Arizona. I am Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego, and I am so excited to be with you here in Maricopa County, the largest voting jurisdiction in the United States to switch from Republican to voting Biden-Harris in the last election. We are so glad to welcome these amazing leaders here today who are committed to vaccinating the United States and to vaccinating Phoenix. It really is our privilege to welcome them to this community at such an important time. We have come very far. A year ago at this time, Arizona was #1 per capita in COVID infections, and people were waiting 10 hours to get a vaccination. Phoenix was the largest city in the country to not have had access to federal surge testing. What a difference a year makes. We have great partners in the White House who believe in public health and in vaccination, and that is why they are with us here today. We still have our work cut out for us. Phoenix is at about 44% fully vaccinated, 7% one shot and on the way. This particular area is around 33% vaccinated. But these two great leaders are up for a challenge, and they are with us here today. And Dr. Biden and Mr. Emhoff, you have great partners here today. There are over 20 groups represented, from faith leaders to businesses to nonprofits, who have been out there vaccinating the community. Thank you all. We also have a group of elected officials that are going to be your partners as we work to save lives in this community. No one is doing better at vaccination and public health than our tribal leaders. We are excited to be here with Chairman Norris, Vingell, and Rambler, Governor Roe Lewis, and President Nez. Thank you to our tribal communities. And then if you could hold our applause until we get through the list. You have already heard from Congressman Ruben Gallego, who's a fierce advocate. We have Secretary of State Katie Hobbs, legislative leaders Rios, Bolding, Alston, and Tehran. I am lucky to have great partners at the Phoenix City Council. We are not the public health authority, but they are out there literally knocking on doors to help vaccinate. We have our Vice Mayor Carlos Garcia, Councilwoman Ansari, and our Councilwoman for this area, Laura Pastor. We have great partners in local government and are joined today by Mesa Mayor John Giles, Tempe Mayor Corey Woods, and our Maricopa County Chairman Sellers, who are here with us. Thank you. We also have Commissioners Terry Goddard and Heather Macri, as well as an amazing group of education leaders, board members, superintendents, and the folks at Isaac who have done such a good job with today's event. We are looking forward to getting out in the community and helping people with whatever barriers are in front of us. Tomorrow, the Phoenix City Council will vote to go towards mobile vaccination units following the Gila River Indian community's success in that area, and we're going to keep going till we get everyone in our community. In this area, there are many people who may have been exposed to COVID-19, and we're also trying to remind people that even if you think you may have immunity, we still hope that you will get that vaccine. It makes sense, particularly with the Delta variant, which is here in Arizona, and we want to do what we can to put a stop with it right now. We have our work cut out for us. We want to make sure, while not all of our young people can be vaccinated, that we continue to be diligent. And that's one of the reasons we have two committed parents here with us today who are so focused on vaccination. Dr. Jill Biden, our accomplished First Lady, has been a leader on public health as well as education, supporting military families. Welcome back to Phoenix. And then I get to be the first Phoenix mayor ever to introduce a second gentleman. But hopefully not the last. He is an accomplished entertainment attorney, and I'm sure while he was practicing law, he dreamed of going to a city that was 100 degrees and hanging out in a gymnasium with all of us. But he's committed to a healthy community and to working side by side with our amazing and accomplished Vice President Harris. He has been using his platform to save American lives, and we are so pleased to welcome Doug Emhoff to Phoenix, Arizona.
Hello, Phoenix. Let's hear it for your incredible mayor, Kate Gallego. You're so lucky to have her, and I am so humbled and honored to be, as she said, the second gentleman of the United States. And I have been traveling all over this great country of ours talking about the need for vaccinations. And it is such an amazing honor and privilege to be joined on the second leg of this part of the trip with our amazing First Lady and my very good friend, Dr. Jill Biden. And I love introducing her at events, and I get to do this here today. But first, I'm going to say a few words about why we're here, which is to continue this incredible task of getting this country vaccinated. And there's really not an end date to this process. It's going to keep going and going until we win, and we are going to win, and we're going to get these numbers up here in Phoenix, Mayor. I promise you that. We just need the community to come together. And one of the best things I've seen around the country is what the mayor was talking about and what we've seen right here today at this facility, where you have communities coming together, whether it's school, faith, medical community, education community, the fire community, the police community. Everyone has come together on this task to beat COVID. And that's how you're going to do it here in Phoenix, and that's how we're going to do it around the country. We're going to come together, and we're going to win. But I know, just from our own experience personally here in Phoenix and throughout the country, this past year and a half has been very tough. It has been really tough, and especially for the frontline workers and the medical folks who, during COVID, prior to the vaccinations, were just putting their safety and their lives on the line for us. So I want to thank you for that. But I know this year has been tough. But as we also know, things are starting to get better. They are starting to get better because of the vaccines, and they will continue to get better. We've made a ton of progress in these past 5 or so months in the Biden-Harris administration. But let me just kind of remind you where we were, because I don't want people to forget. Because if people forget, maybe they won't go ahead and get their vaccination. So let's take us back to when we came into office in January. Only 5% of adults had one shot. And believe it or not, we were seeing about 180,000 COVID cases a day. We were seeing thousands and thousands of deaths per day. And I'm happy to report that the cases are way down and the deaths are down more than 90%, which is incredible. And every day, more and more people are getting vaccinated, which is great. In fact, last week, I think you probably heard, the White House announced that 70% of Americans aged 30 and over now have at least one shot, which is great news. And to everyone here, who I think everyone in this room is vaccinated, thank you for doing that. We really appreciate it. Because vaccines work. The reason we're able to be in this room without masks, the reason Dr. Biden and I were at the Astros game last night without masks is because the vaccines are working. They are effective. They work. And that is the path back to normal life, but we're not quite there yet. A normal life where we can enjoy the things that we want to do, getting back to sporting events, weddings. Wedding season is coming up. Kids, we're here in a school, getting kids back to school, all the travel everyone wants to do. We want to be able to do that, but we want to do it without worry. We want to be able to do it without the worrying about getting sick. And as the mayor said, and you've been hearing, with the Delta variant, which is very serious, we can't let our guard down. So those of us who have our vaccine, that's great. In order for all of us, though, to get back to a fully normal life without worry, we need to get everyone else vaccinated. There's light at the end of the tunnel. The future is getting brighter and brighter. So while we are in a strong spot, like we've been saying, can't let our guard down, it's too soon to declare victory. We got to keep fighting. And First Lady and I, behind the scenes, we're just talking and talking and talking about that this effort does not end with the end of this bus tour. This effort will keep going, and we promise you that we are going to continue to getting the word out. And we need to do it here in Arizona. The numbers here are, as the mayor said, we need to get those numbers up. I believe less than half the people between 18 and 24 have one shot. So young people, we met some young people getting vaccinated in the other room. We need to get our young people vaccinated. Again, I have kids that I've had conversations with them in their 20s, and both of them got vaccinated. And I got to tell you, as a parent, it was such a sigh of relief when Cole and Ella got their shots. And as a parent, I can sleep better at night when they're out in the world knowing that they are going to be safe. And I want every other parent to feel the way that I feel after Cole and Ella got vaccinated. So please, parents, get those kids out there. And I've been saying, if you don't want to listen to me, then listen to trusted advisors in the community. I've been seeing that all over the country, whether it's the pastor, the barber shop, the educators. Talk to folks in the community that you trust. And there's a lot of information out there, but there's a lot of disinformation out there, and it's on us as leaders, and there's a lot of leaders in this room, to make sure we are debunking that misinformation and getting the facts out. Okay, where are we right now? We've had 600,000 of our fellow Americans die of COVID, and again, we cannot forget that. We cannot forget that number has happened, and we have the chance to stop that. And the chance is these vaccines. So we can't go back to the way we were. And I want every parent, I want every family, I want every young person to get the vaccination so we can move forward. So people, talk to your friends, talk to your family, get the shot, tell 5 people, tell 10 people, go on social media, do what you need to do as leaders, get the word out, and if you need any help, the information's all on vaccines.gov. It's a great website. We've got incentives galore out there as well to help folks do it. But again, at the end of the day, the only way we're going to put this pandemic behind us is if we keep getting the word out and as leaders working together. So to the educators in here, the medical professionals, the volunteers, the elected leaders, the non-elected leaders, those who've dedicated your life to public service like many in this room have, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Again, on the ground, I'm seeing this all over the country. This country has come together. This country is unified. It's unified to fight COVID. So thank you again, and without further ado, I want to welcome to this stage here in Phoenix, Arizona, my good friend, the First Lady of the United States of America, Dr. Jill Biden.
Thank you. Thank you, Doug. You know, this is actually our first official trip together, right, Doug? And usually we divide and conquer. But today our message is so important that we wanted to come to Phoenix together. And I always love when we get to do things together. So there's going to be a lot more of this. We're going to keep going, right, Doug? Before I begin, I'd like to take a moment of recognition and prayer for the tragedy in Florida. And the President and I are grieving alongside the community of Surfside, and our hearts are broken for the families. So if you could take a moment of your day today and just say a prayer for, to give them strength. Thank you. Mayor, You know, you helped bring Phoenix through one of the worst years in history. So thank you for hosting us today and for your leadership. We appreciate it. And I was in Arizona this past April to visit the Navajo Nation, and thank you, President Nez, for that warm welcome that you gave to me and for joining us today, along with the tribal leadership represented by Chairman Norris, Chairman Manuel, Chairman Rambler, and Governor Lewis. So thank you for all being here today. And thank you to Congressman Gallego and Sydney for being here as well. You know, I just feel right at home here at a school. You know, schools just aren't places of learning. They're really the hearts of our communities. And we see that today with this school doing its part to get vaccinations to everyone aged 12 and over. So thank you, Principal Sotomayor, for welcoming us to your school. I don't see where he is. Oh, there you are. Thank you. I love this school. And you're the Cougars, right? Yeah, I could tell by the signs on the wall. So with just a few days until the 4th of July, Phoenix is our last stop on the Vaccine Month of Action tour. And though it's far from the end of our effort to get every single person in America vaccinated, and I think you'll see a lot of me and Doug out on the road this summer because we're not stopping. But it's hard to believe how far we've really come in just 1 year. So think back. Take yourself back to last summer. Do you remember how quiet the streets were then? Do you remember the empty grocery aisles? And just how uncertain and lonely so many of us felt. But today, we're finally getting back to the things we've lost. You know, hugging the people we love, catching up with friends face to face, smiling at strangers. You know, the little things that we took for granted for so long. But as far as we've come, we're not done yet. And as Doug referenced, you know, right now only about 40% of Arizonians are fully vaccinated. And that's just not enough. And that's why Doug and I wanted to come here today, because your lives and your health matter to the President, to the Vice President, to Doug, and to me. So I'm here to ask all the viewers on these TV stations to please make the choice to get vaccinated, because it's safe, as Doug said. You know, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and people have come up to me and they've said, Jill, you know, has it been tested enough? Can I trust the science? Yes. Yes, you can. Yes, it is safe. The vaccines have been rigorously tested, and millions of Americans have received their shots because it's effective. Studies show that vaccines are the best way to protect against death or hospitalization from COVID-19, and because it's free. So, you know, I get it. I mean, I get it. We're all busy, right? We're working. We're trying to handle our families. We have a lot to do. And you may think, hey, Jill, I don't have time to go to a clinic. But, you know, most people don't require appointments. You know, you can just stick your kids in the car, you know, fill a baggie with treats and say, hey, come on, we're going to the vaccination clinic. You can just walk in, walk up, and get your shot. And Uber and Lyft are offering free rides. And no matter where you live, there is a vaccination site nearby. So just as Doug said, go to vaccines.gov and find one. And it's still okay if you have questions. I get it. So go ask your doctor. Go to your child's pediatrician. You know, ask the questions you want. This is your choice. So you need to get the information that you need. And they don't hurt. And I promise that because as you probably saw, or maybe you didn't in the clinic, but those kids were, you know, it took 1 second. I mean, they were finished. It was, you know, and I hate needles, but it was so easy. But the 4th of July is almost here, and I'm so excited to be able to come back together. Aren't you all? From barbecues to baseball games to boardwalks full of laughing children, summer has never felt more full of promise. And the fresh air just smells sweeter without our masks. And the time with our loved ones feels so much more precious. Now that we know it could be lost. The bonds of our community, they feel so much stronger because we have carried each other through the darkest of times. That's just what we as Americans do. It's who we are. People who take care of their friends and their neighbors. People who know that together, there is no challenge we can't face, no obstacle that we can't soar above. So do your part. Do your part. Choose to get the COVID-19 vaccine. Do it for your health. Do it for your children. Do it for your grandparents and your neighbors. And we'll be able to celebrate this holiday the way it should be, safe and together. Now, before I end, I saw that today is the 8th anniversary of the deadly Yarnell Hill fire. And my heart, and Cindy, I can remember you and John being there at the funeral and how devastating it was to meet with those families. So my heart and Joe's heart, and I know all of your hearts, are with the surviving families. So please keep them in your prayers. So God bless you, Phoenix, and please go get vaccinated. Happy 4th of July.